All right, so we back this week, y'all. Of course, training camp is coming up real soon, like weeks, like a couple weeks soon, right?
Yeah, training camp opens October 5th.
And it's been a pretty ever since the initial free agency. It's been kind of quiet on that. We've been waiting for trades that kind of haven't happened. Been waiting for signings and buyouts that really haven't happened. So it was an interesting first couple days of the summer, but like most NBA summers, it quiets down towards the end. Well, you think it was kind of quiet? Like I said, the first couple weeks was like, yeah, of course, but ever since then, not much movement for real.
Yeah, after the first couple of weeks, you always go through kind of the dead period. I mean, you had the Olympics this year, so that's why you had more basketball. But it's always that kind of quiet zone after. The only surprising thing was just how long kind of Lauri Markkanen deal took to play out. But
that's true. Right.
It's always tough when you're a restricted free agent and you don't get the deal immediately. So now y'all, both trying to play both sides of it. You and the teams.
Yeah. And Cleveland has a very interesting roster, and we're going to get into that right after this. I'm John W.
For sure.
And this is the Hoopers Morning Run. I know we done took a couple weeks off, like Black said, it's been the off season, so giving everybody a chance to breathe because it's always constant basketball talk going on. So we decided to give y'all a little chance to breathe and, rest up and get ready for the season. But Lauri Markkanen, like I said, is an interesting move because Cleveland now has, I think they can do a whole starting lineup of 6 to 10 players and better after this summer, honestly.
Right.
Especially. Yeah. So Cleveland is a very interesting team, like I said, that people have been talking about because, of course, you have Lauri Markkanen, you draft Evan Mobley, Jared Allen gets $100 million, and then all the other big men you already had on the team. And Kevin Love, of course, there's Kevin Love who said he does not intend on getting bought out of his 2-year, $60 million deal.
I'm sure he's not.
Do you think Cleveland have because we've seen him draft guards over the past couple of years, like a lot of guards, Kevin Porter, Isaac Okoro, Darius Garland, Colin Sexton. Now they're kind of going with big men. Do you think Cleveland has a direction? Just honest question.
Now they took the best player available, but Jared Allen deal makes sense because he's going to be the starting center. Starting center make about 20. His deal's only like $25 million a year, so he's right there with those centers. He's one of the best rim protectors, shot blockers at least in the league. So. You can still trade his deal if you need to. If Evan Mobley steps up and I don't know if he's going to be a 4 or a 5. I haven't watched him a ton. One of the draft experts can probably tell you that a little more. But Markkanen is a 4, so he fits in there. But they're just kind of taking the best player available. And then you see who kind of steps up. And then I guess you build from there. Because, of course, it was a lot of talk about Colin Sexton getting traded. Obviously, they didn't move him. But I think at some point they're going to make a decision between him or Garland. Okoro looked good in Summer League, so maybe this is a year that he steps up. But, I mean, the potential is there. It's just kind of how you figure out what happens with I'm guessing Mobley is going to be more of a center. I don't know. That's kind of what it's saying. Because Markkanen is definitely a 4. Kevin Love is basically going to sit there and collect checks until they can find somebody that'll take on his deal.
Right.
At least he's going into the last 2 years. I don't blame him for not taking a buyout. I'm not surprised that he wouldn't take a buyout. Kevin Love doesn't seem like that type of guy. And I also think he knows that he's not getting
$30 million again.
Yeah, exactly. He's not about to sign even an extension for $30 million for the next couple of years. So I'm gonna need all that money. all need all that. But yeah, Cleveland, I don't think they have a complete. They're just trying to figure out who's gonna be their best player.
No, that's fair. I just think when you just see it, like I say, they can run a star lineup with their 4 or 5. So, and like I say, of course, the Jared Allen, that makes sense because he clearly looks like he's gonna be in your plan. He's not a ball dominant center. You can,
even if he's not in their plan, like I say, you can move a $25 million deal. It's not a terrible deal.
No, that's fair.
To have. And that's the minimum for. I mean, we just saw Clay Capella get his extension. He's about $24 million a year, so that's about starting center money.
Nah, yeah, it's fair. It's definitely fair. I want to say real quick, happy belated birthday to Nate Archibald, whose birthday was yesterday.
Tiny Archibald,
still the only player to lead the league in points and assists. We'll get into more of that on the radio show on Sunday. I mean on Monday, but he doesn't want to do that real quick. And I can say Nate Archibald, I don't think it's been said enough, but he probably was the start of the smaller guard as well that was able to be ball dominant and successful in the league like that. Because at no point in the NBA have smaller guards really been acceptable, honestly.
Yeah, high volume scorer. He definitely will have to be the first one. I don't know who will become him, especially as a scorer in that era. The year he led in assists and scoring, he averaged about 34 and 11. but he was consistent at 16 as a rookie. Then went up there 8.28. So he was definitely a scorer. So happy belated to Nate Tiny Archibald. I said earlier, his name doesn't come up enough when we talk about all-time great small guards, but he should be in that conversation more.
I just want to get in the conversation real quick. I seen some on Twitter, and you just like his numbers real quick, like 34 points. And his coach was Bob Cousy back when he was in Sacramento. Bob Cousy basically said, I'm gonna let you play your game as long as you play.
He had the game Bob Cousy wish he had.
So that's fair. No, that's fair. But as long as you play with the team and play the team game, I'm gonna let you play a game. You can see that when he gets to lead the league and scoring and assists in 1 year. No, still the only player to ever do that. But I seen something interesting. It was a tweet. I don't remember who said it. I didn't retweet it, so I probably won't be able to find the exact person. But they basically said Jokic should come out this year and average 38, 12, 11 on 60, 40, 80. And people will still say, he has an MVP case, but a weak one. And I don't even want to get into that because he won the MVP and he should have won it. But I would like to see coaches especially if you're on a team that you don't think is going to win, just let them go A-Rod with Houston, with the Texas Rangers. Just have a great year. You
got to see the players to do it too, because he showed up. He was there every game, 82 games.
That's true as well.
Players got to put the teams on their back and really do it. Because he was on that team was terrible. He did a lot. They weren't terrible, but they were bad. He definitely carried them. But I think we could see something similar from somebody this year that I'm hoping steps up.
Would you think the media and fans will be accepting of? Because I'm pretty sure a majority of people will see it as being selfish. But if he's doing it inside the team where everybody's still eating, he's just putting up these numbers because this is the only way, truthfully, you can be an all-star on a bad team or in those conversations. Do you think media or other teams or owners or fans will see that as kind of selfish?
Not really, because you always gonna have both sides of the conversation. I mean, you have people that like that James Harden was averaging 37, and you have people that was upset about it. So it's always gonna be both sides of it. But if you're putting up the numbers you're supposed to, you would be an all-star without a doubt. I mean, Trae Young made it as a starter his second year. And the Hawks were terrible, but he was averaging 28 and 8. So you had to put him in. So I don't think it'd be no doubt if you're averaging 30. You will get in. Some of the players that have these arguments over the years, their numbers are good, but they're not just out. They're not outstanding. Right. I mean, everyone's not averaging 25 points, but people are averaging 30 and missing the All-Star game and stuff like that. So
that's fair.
You're gonna be in.
That's fair. I would just like to see it. I know it's not gonna be 38, 11, and 12 like that, but I would like to see a players go out and have an all-time great year. Michael Jordan, 88 year, something like that. But again, the more free agency signings. The Brooklyn Nets signed a couple veteran big men in Paul Millsap and LaMarcus Aldridge, who was recently cleared for basketball activities medically. I know they're gonna help, they're immediate help, but do you think they put them over the top?
I just feel honestly, I think you lost Jeff Green, so Paul Millsap fills that role for me. Yeah. He's gonna do it defensively. He'll have some games offensively where he'll contribute. And then LaMarcus, if you remember when they first signed him, he was starting at center until he, retired because of his health issues.
Right.
So I guess it's just a matter of how many games he's going to play because it's clearly looking like they're going to buy out DeAndre Jordan. Not that he was playing anyway, but they definitely help and kind of just shore up that team. I just still think they kind of need some guard help.
Definitely
but you're going to rely heavily on Kyrie, James, and maybe a lot from the rookie Cam Thomas. And then they brought in Patrick Mills. So as long as they're healthy, Brooklyn's going to be there, and they're going to have a chance to go to the finals. So, but Paul Millsap, him for sure, at least kind of helps replace Jeff Green. I think he does the same thing as Jeff Green.
No, that's fair. I want to get into LaMarcus Aldridge real quick because I know he was medically cleared to play. I just don't know how I really feel about it. I know he's probably not going to play heavy minutes, especially to start, because they're going to want to check and see if he is okay, and they got to make sure he's okay to the fullest capabilities. I just don't really feel comfortable. Like, say, it was a heart scare. He can you definitely can come back from that, but I just don't know how I feel about that medically right now.
Yeah, I just think it's weird that that it seems so bad that he had to retire.
Right.
But maybe it kind of just comes up out of nowhere because it did just come out of nowhere. So you just take the extra precaution and you retire, and now you've done more research. So it'll be interesting to see the beginning, his minutes. And
right.
I think because I really don't think I mean, he didn't come back to play on a minute restriction. Honestly, why would he come back to play on a minute restriction? So you got to think after the first couple months, or at least after the first month, he's gonna kind of be out there. They're gonna kind of need him. So he's gonna definitely show us how healthy he is at the beginning. But I'm gonna just hope that maybe they just got more information. And when he first retired, it was like, oh, what is this? So I'm gonna just go ahead and sit down. So.
Definitely. You're definitely right. They definitely had a chance to do more research on it and just look into it more. Like I say, it's just one of those things that just seem weird to clear him. Like I say, to the point where he had to retire was, I guess, why I'm kind of like, I don't know about it right now, honestly. But I want to move on because we just did another Hooper's Room on the halftime out Wednesday about Gary Payton and Sean Kemp. And you brought up an interesting player this morning who you would like to see one on, and that was one Steve Francis, who I think at a certain point in time was a lot of, especially younger teenagers' favorite player because he had that flash and he could cross you over and he could dunk on you at the same time. And I remember we went to a game. Was it you? You got a
I got
fan from him?
Yeah, I got a
fan from him?
Yeah, for sure. Yep.
Steve Francis is one of those players. He don't get mentioned a lot. Just keep killing Phil. Shout out to you. Who's this? WL 1691. Appreciate that. But Steve Francis is one of the players who don't get talked about as far as moving the point guard position forward from an athletic standpoint. And I know there was athletic point guards before him, but Kevin Johnson one coming to mind. He doesn't really play Kevin Johnson, but his game is kind of similar. Do you think Steve Francis, Baron Davis is in there as well, kind of help move that point guard position forward in an athletic sense?
Not even just in the athletic sense. I think it's easy to just get caught up on the athletic because you didn't see the point guard dunking, but he was one that where they started playing through the guards, even offensively, because his numbers are 19, 20 a game. And his peak, he only played 9 years in the NBA, really 7 seasons in the NBA. And he's at 18, 5, and 6. So 18, 5, and 5 guys aren't just growing on trees. Even in today's NBA, if somebody's 18, 5, and 5, that's a rare player to have because that shows he's touching everywhere on the court. He's rebounding. He's passing the ball, and then he's giving you volume scoring. But people definitely saw Francis because he comes in, like I said, he plays 9 years, 7 healthy years. He made 3 All-Star games. He's co-rookie of the year with Elton Brand. And then you see the potential there. He got Houston in the playoffs. I think they went once. Him and Yao Ming, before he got traded, was in the trade or whatever. But you saw the potential with him and Yao Ming. And then, like you say, over in Charlotte, you saw the same thing with Baron Davis. So you see these guys, and it's like that's something there as far as having those attacking guards, those do-it-all guards. And they've kind of always been around, but I guess their games with the flair to it, Steve Francis handled the ball. He definitely had like a street ball sense to his game or whatever. And then Baron Davis coming out of California had a lot of swagger to his game too. So you do see those next waves of guards kind of looking at those players because it's easy today for people to just try to say that they were shooting guards playing point guard, but they won't. They weren't. They were point guards. Baron Davis played point guard his whole life. Steve Francis played point his whole life. They just weren't the traditional, the traditional. But it's really kind of always been around. And to your point earlier, that's just where the athletic ability came in because this probably gonna sound blasphemous to people, but I'll go there. Is Isaiah Thomas really a traditional point guard? Like he's not averaging 12 assists a game, 11 assists a game.
21 and 10.
He was scoring. He was shooting. He was shooting the ball. So they kind of have always been
that's
there.
Fair. No,
they kind of always been there, but of course you had the Magic, you had the John Stockton. So whatever. But you get Francis, Baron Davis, and then you lead to the next era of Derrick Rose, and then with him and Westbrook, Rose winning MVP. Kind of just changed it all, and now you see John Wall, De'Aaron Fox, John Morant. So it definitely started. I mean, it was there, but they helped take it to another level with the athletic ability. So, I mean, that was your point at the beginning, really. So,
yeah. But no, that's fair though. Even going back to Nate, no, that's fair though.
But I like to respect that. I really feel like he had a lot of game too. So I never. His athletic ability was crazy, but like he had some skills with his ball handling.
No, that's
footwork.
That's all fair. And to your point, I don't think most people would go that deep into how good they were outside of their athletic abilities. Honestly, Steve Francis, to your point, I know people love showing the one clip. I don't know who the defender was.
Yeah,
we had
him playing with him.
Yeah, it's basically nobody ever talks about Steve Francis probably being one of the more skilled ball handlers ever in NBA history. But to your point, even go back to Nate Archibald, who I brought up, led league in scoring and assist, only player ever to do that. So it's definitely like, are we gonna say Nate Archibald is a point guard?
Yeah, he was giving you seven assists a game for his career too.
That's just to be fair with your argument, you do have a point with that.
But that dude just, you see that, and it's manifested in another crazy way in the game nowadays, because the point guard, just the ball handler position, it's funny, you would have thought they would always been very important, but it's feel like they're more important than ever right now. And everyone's really, because I guess it's hard to really get that wing. You're not gonna get a LeBron, KD. That's
why you only hear about a wing being generational talent, because you're not gonna find that wing who can consistently carry over the top scoring and defensively.
Right, but it seems like it's easier to even find a 7-footer with some skills than it is to find. That's why people are drooling over even the coming years of Money Bates and seeing what he could be in the NBA or whatever. So, but the growth of the game has been crazy, but it's always been sprinkled there. But as we've gotten further, it's just gotten better and better.
No, yeah, definitely. I want to get into an athletic guard right now who's still very early into his career, Dennis Smith Jr., who recently signed a training camp contract with the Portland Trailblazers. And of course, we all know Dennis Smith was one of the highly touted point guards coming out of his high school class, even coming out of college his freshman year.
Did he beat Duke at NC State?
Yeah, he beat Duke for his coaches. It was a big moment too, because they beat.
It was a tournament.
It was a regular home game, but it was the coaches, like so many wins for the coach. That's what it was. I think it was like 250 for the coach or something like that. But yeah, they did beat Duke because he had to dunk at the end of the game when the buzzer goes off. We've seen Dennis Smith over the year. I know, especially coming out of high school, people saw the athleticism right away and figured some of that could translate into the NBA, because you could use the athleticism in different ways, even just on your jump shot, being able to get your jump shot off, creating shots off the dribble and whatnot. So to see Dennis Smith at this point, of course, there's still a chance for him in the league.
Yeah, he's so young.
But when a player gets to this point, what is the immediate thing that comes to your mind? Because of course there's something from both sides that wasn't clicking, the coach's front office and the player.
Right. And then people just really don't understand how kind of an injury affects a young player, especially if you never really have gone through injuries and then being an athletic player. I know he had like kind of a back injury, and then because he had a really good rookie year, right? Like he makes all rookie. He shows the potential. We all know that he showed the skills that he has. And you come out the next year and you kind of hurt, and then Dallas drafts this generational player in Luka, and before you even really see if it can work, because I know people just gonna say it wasn't gonna work, they're just gonna throw it out there because people's basketball minds are so limited.
No, facts.
If you got great players, it could work or whatever. But immediately Dallas shifts everything they're doing because Luka's way better than they thought he was. I mean, because you just look at the team. Dallas traded their whole starting lineup Luka's rookie year. They traded DeAndre Jordan, they traded Harrison Barnes, they traded Wesley Matthews, and they traded Dennis Smith Jr. They traded the whole starting lineup. So you get that, and you go to this new situation in New York. Was Fizdale the coach at the time?
Yeah, I think so.
I believe Fizdale's the coach, and I don't know Dennis Smith Jr. so personally, but it seems like maybe there was some confidence things maybe coming back from that injury and things like that. And I don't know that Fizdale's the kind of guy that brings someone up. In my opinion, his run as a head coach hasn't been that great. Respectfully, I know like players respect him as an assistant. He was there for those Heat teams, but he didn't really show as much as a head coach. But man, you go through the confidence issues, and then there's no media like the New York press, so that's kind of on you. You're in and out of the lineup, and then Thibodeau comes in, and we all know how tough he is, and he's not even in the rotation at all. So it's tough when you get to this point, but he's still so young that it's ways to still make a career for yourself. You just got to find out what's your lane. And not that they're the same people, but I guess the closest thing I could think recently as a player to rebuild his value is Jeremy Lamb. Like I remember him, just seemed like it was kind of going to be over for him. Hurt. People thought he had some promise to play. He's a lottery pick. So you think he got some promise to play. He's in a James Harden trade, injuries, falling out of the lineup, and then he gets his health in control, and he kind of took control of himself in Charlotte. He was able to come back and get a deal or whatever. And Dennis Smith had a good game last year for Detroit when he went there and finally got some playing time. So I know this is just a camp deal for the Blazers, but I mean, who's their backup point guard for real? Anthony Simmons. I mean, so it's minutes. It's minutes there. If you go in there, show you're healthy, show that you can provide valuable minutes. I think he could steal some minutes. He's still a top 5 pick.
Yeah.
So the talent is clearly there. It's just finding out what you could do to help a team, because being a starter is probably out. Not probably out, more than likely is out, because the league is going. They're gonna put you in that box now. They're gonna put you in these areas, but you could be a valuable backup point guard for Dame.
No, I definitely think so. I definitely think it's a role for him on any team, especially because scoring guards off the bench are always at a premium. If you can do that consistently,
you can get your own shot. You can run
a lineup by yourself. You're just not gonna be a starter.
Yeah, exactly.
You should be a finisher though. Like, you can finish games real quick.
Yeah,
or whatnot.
Or even just like I said, you can be that guy, even if you're not a starter, not a finisher, but you a guy that can still get valuable minutes. There's minutes there for a lot of teams in the NBA, because at this point, no disrespect, it's just about having a career in the NBA. You can't just be thinking, they're overlooking me. I just want to be a starter. I want to do this. I want to do that. You got to find where you can get minutes and stay on a roster. Because, I mean, you sign in non-guaranteed contracts within, 5 years of your career?
Yeah.
That's tough.
No, yeah, it's definitely tough.
6 years in, non-guaranteed contracts. The average career is only 2-3 years, so it's still some time.
What's going on, Edgar? I know you said your car was good the other day, but I hope everything's all right up there with y'all, man.
Yeah, stuff been crazy in New York, so I hope everything is better. On a light side of it, I saw the hugest rat I ever seen in my life swimming in the water in a subway down there. It was so disgusting but hilarious at the same time.
You see the guy jump off the bridge into the.
So some people gonna make light out of it.
Somebody made some lemonade out of the water. I am.
Hold on, of course. So there is 2 unofficial hoopers. Jelani is number 3. Is number 3. He's definitely our unofficial running mate. Shout out to Jelani. And Edgar is the next unofficial hooper for sure. So yeah, you definitely a hooper. Shout out to Edgar.
Definitely. Yeah, I think I said that the other day. But
yeah, Edgar, when he was in the room.
I said that last week. Yeah, but Edgar's definitely the 4th unofficial hooper. Honestly, we like Wu-Tang Clan. We're growing every day.
Exactly. Yeah.
But I want to get into Ben Simmons real quick, who's been all over the news since the summer started. Of course, recently he said, he's basically not going to talk to Philly. He's ready to be traded. Of course, there's been the Rich Paul stuff out there. He got to go to a team in California. Him and Tyrese Maxey both.
He's a man.
Him and Tyrese Maxey both got to be traded. Now it's come out that he ain't say that. Well, Kendrick Perkins said that he ain't the man that Tyrese Maxey got to be traded.
Real quick, is Kendrick Perkins Clutch? He's part of Clutch.
I mean, he ain't man's though. He ain't man's man.
He like Ray J with the money team. But Ray J was really
the money team. Kendrick Perkins is like. Kendrick Perkins is like that. He get to hang with them, but he don't get to wear. He don't get to wear a Clutch varsity jacket.
Okay, but he got a Clutch shirt, but
he got a Clutch shirt. Yeah, he got a shirt, not a jacket. Right. So he on the team, but he with the team. He ain't on the team. But anyway, yeah. So it's come out. He said, of course, he didn't demand that Tyrese Maxey has to be traded. Joel Embiid's come out and said that he got booed early on in his career. He came back, now he gets cheered for him, basically telling Ben Simmons he need to toughen up. Is what I'm getting out of that.
I saw that he was killed the rumor that he didn't want to play with him, and they trying to divide them apart. Yeah.
That's definitely all. That's a rumor every summer.
Yeah. I don't remember what he said after the game, but
he said you got to take that. You got to take that.
Yeah, shot. But he basically he's always been consistent. That's why after that final that playoff game when they got eliminated, I was more disappointed with Doc than Joel, because he's been consistent in trying to give Ben the confidence and to just shoot the ball over a couple of years. But he's also been consistent with saying he wants to play with Ben. So
yeah. And I know this, Doc, who's I think this is I forgot who said. I think it was either Nick Andre or Daniel Artest. Shout out to both of them. Somebody they was like they never seen Doc get this much love before. Then of course I see somebody say Doc is bulletproof. Basically, they've never seen one championship make a coach and play and a team so bulletproof like that 08 championship for the Celtics. I've said
Rick
that many times. I don't think Rick Carlisle was as bulletproof at the end.
Man, how? Shoot, he didn't get fired. He left and got another job. He left because he seen another job. Rick Carlisle was not about to be fired.
I give that. So, that's fair.
But fair. I definitely agree with Doc. This is where I'm at with Doc. Then we can get back to the Ben Simmons stuff for real. Where I'm at with Doc is I respect Doc as a coach. I think he's top 10 coach in the NBA. I don't think there's 10 better coaches than him in the league. I think
definitely 9 though.
Yeah. I don't know, but I think he's top 10. I think he, as far as being a motivational coach for the players, being a great leader of men, he's top 5. That's why he keeps a job. Doc is, for one, he played in the league.
Players relate to him.
Players relate to him in that sense. He's always been a players coach more than an X and O's coach. But I do think Doc has gotten a few passes, and that's what shout out to Zach Ramsey. That's what Zach said from all the that. Well, he didn't really say it, but he just asked, was he getting passes? Because, all right, in Orlando, just to go through them real quick, they had the 3-1 lead. Everyone's going to give them a pass because they were the 8 seed, but 3-1 is 3-1, bro. This is the NBA. It's not high school. It's not college. 3-1 is 3-1. They should have closed out that series. They didn't. Whatever. Those years before they won that championship with the Celtics, they were really bad. They were really bad. They were bad for a second, to the point that Paul Pierce was about to get traded before the Big 3 thing happened. He even said that he was going to request a trade. He said that, y'all go ahead and draft KD, trade me somewhere else, and go from there. You get Ray Allen, KG, you win the championship, and you go to the championship for a couple years. After that, Boston kind of peaked, and they never really did much else. They got eliminated in the second round a few times, and then he moves on to the Clippers.
Gets traded to the Clippers.
Yeah, basically. Realistically, he gets traded to the Clippers. The Clippers definitely had their times of having unfortunate injuries, like the Chris Paul injuries, the Blake injuries, but the Clippers also very underachieved. They didn't step up at times when they could have. They had a 3-1 lead also with both of his teams, with Kawhi's team and Chris Paul's team.
Yeah.
So I don't think other coaches could have survived some of the things that Doc have. I mean, I don't think they could have, but I just feel like he's so respected by the players. I think
it's hard to fire a coach like that.
Yeah, it's hard to fire a coach like that. When Doc got on the market, Joel Embiid wanted him in Philly. He basically didn't even have to interview for the job. It was his if he wanted it. Because I do think he's respected like that. But Doc, that one championship validated him to a Greg Popovich type level. I mean,
no, that's fair.
He got fired for the Clippers,
but he ain't getting fired for real.
They may have a job the next day.
No, yeah.
So, but back to the Ben Simmons thing. This is where I start with that.
Go ahead.
I'm just amazed that people think that the 76ers are going to give away a 25-year-old All-NBA, All-Defensive player. I don't care if Ben Simmons has 0 points in that Game 7. He's 25, and during the regular season, to get you to that point, he's going to be an all-star player. He finished second defensive player of the year. They're not giving him away for role players. The 76ers definitely need to change their offer. You're not going to get a star, a young player, and 4 picks. That's unrealistic also. But they're not giving him away. So the sense that his value is as low as it's ever going to be, I don't buy that. To think that they have to give him away and we're gonna send him to California, as I saw somebody say, Daryl Morey traded Chris Paul to OKC. He'll send you where he wants you.
He can see where he wants you to go.
Where he wants you to go. Ben Simmons is not the first player in the history of the NBA to demand a trade. R.P. Kobe, he did the same thing. He told the Lakers to trade him to the Bulls or the Clippers. He finished his career with the Lakers. It happens.
Almost got traded to Dallas.
It happens. Allen Iverson almost got traded to the Clippers. It happens. Players fall out. I'm not talking to management, this or that.
Jordan almost signed with the Knicks.
You mend all it. Ben Simmons is not going to just get traded to wherever he wants to go. I think Philly has to do their due diligence. You have to get the best value that you can. I think just getting a starter doesn't replace an all-star player. He's been in the league 4 years. He's made 3 all-star games. Not giving that away. So you're gonna want a starter or a young, not just a young promising player, but a young player that if Ben Simmons is taking off the 76ers, who's your starting point guard right now? They finished first in the East last year. You take him off the team. Tyrese Maxey is instantly their starting point guard. Are they first in the East again? You're not going backwards. Joel's getting older. He has his injury problems. Not that he's old, but with his injuries, he's getting older.
Right.
You already in the heat of trying to compete for a championship. You're not going super backwards. You're going to talk to Ben. The money doesn't really matter. Great players make a lot of money.
Facts.
That $170 million is really nothing. Like trading his deal won't be a problem. It's just finding the value that you want for him. Him being hostile really means nothing. Philly will trade him when they're ready, and they're gonna get what they want out of him. I mean, just think about the Jimmy Butler Minnesota situation. He wanted to be traded. He doesn't show up a few days in training camp. You start losing a few checks. You show up, but they didn't trade him until they got what they thought was equal value back. And they didn't just they didn't just trade Jimmy for anything. You got Sarek, they got Covington, they got some picks, they got some things for Jimmy or whatever. And the same thing we're having for Ben Simmons. Like I saw that Sacramento says that I don't know if this is true or not, but we all probably saw this on Twitter. But they're not coming out. De'Aaron Fox and Tyrese Halliburton. So who are you trading? But realistically, as I thought about that again, that means you're trading Buddy and Marvin Bagley and probably your rookie, Davion Mitchell. So you're probably trading Davion, Buddy, and Marvin Bagley. Up at the minimum, Davion and Buddy will be in that trade. So it's a weird situation. I think Philly's going to try to trade him by the opening of the training camp. I don't think they will. I think they're going to try to, but I don't think they will.
All that is fair. Like you said, they don't have to trade him. Nope. Who cares about your trade demands for real? Like eventually, because eventually, like how many checks do you want to miss for? It's like, all right, I'm back at work. Mm-hmm. And to Edgar point in the comments real quick, Doc Rivers did throw him out of the Bills immediately after Game 7. So that does change his trade value a bit because it kind of changes it doesn't really show that confidence that you had in him all year. Like you basically, you had it back all year up until the point where you get eliminated. Yeah. And it's like, which I know is not fair, but it's understandable. Like
I don't think it lowered his trade value though. I just think it messes up Doc's relationship with Ben.
No, definitely does.
But at the same time, which it was bad, and I didn't respect Doc doing it at all. I think we were definitely clear on the show of saying that. But I've heard Phil Jackson say worse things about Kobe, and they still had, they was able. When you start winning, that heals everything. So I don't think it lowers his value though. I just think it hurts that relationship. And it's like, can they go on the training camp together? And I mean, Anthony Davis publicly demanded a trade. They still got Brandon Ingram, Lonzo, and Josh Hart for him. So, I mean,
it's possible.
You're gonna get something. You're gonna get something. I'm just not with the notion that they're gonna get nothing for it. Like I've seen that people just think they're about to get role players. That Philly's trying to win a championship. They're not rebuilding. You're not giving up you think Ben Simmons is gonna play this year with his salary?
Yeah.
You think those players they make a lot of money? Don't make that money for a year. Come on, guys.
Nah, man. That's true though. Like they're gonna get something for him. What they get for him, I'm not 100% sure.
It was just that first trade. It was Wiseman, Wiggins, 4 picks. It's like, all right, man. Come on.
That trade doesn't really help Philly, but I get that as a starting point.
To demand, to let them know you're not here to mess around. Don't play with them.
Oh yeah, because at the same, like you say, he's a 3-time All-Star, 4 years, All NBA, All Defense.
Yeah, 2-time All Defense.
Right, 2-time All Defense. Like, yeah, we seen the playoff performances, but you got to get to the playoffs, and he's a player that could definitely help lead a team to the playoffs to get to that situation where we're talking about him.
And Philly just seems like overall their team. I mean, for one, they didn't take the Hawks serious enough. The Hawks were rolling.
Tobias Harris didn't show up.
He didn't at all. So it was a lot of factors into that
Danny
game.
Green was hurt.
Right. It was a lot of factors to that. And people are just kind of hung up on the play of Ben not shooting the ball on that play. And I don't know. I just personally know they're going to get what they want for Ben.
No, that's fair. That's definitely fair. But other than that, you got anything else you want to discuss today?
Nah, that's it for today. I appreciate the viewers as always. Shout out.
My bad. Real quick, we just hit 1,000 followers. The Off the Ball Network's Twitter page just hit 1,000 followers.
Shout out to Ball Network Twitter page.
I definitely appreciate everybody that's following the page and tapping in with what we do over here. But my bad to interrupt you.
Oh no! Shout out to Off the Ball Network. That's definitely that's dope. to see it keep going every day. Appreciate the viewers as always. Shout out to Edgar, our fourth Hooper. Appreciate you checking in, Will. You can catch us every Monday and Friday for the Hooper's Hour on Nothing But Net Radio through the Dash Radio app. So that's tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Nothing But Net Radio station through the Dash Radio app every Friday. Hooper's Morning Run. Getting ready for the season. Like we said, training camp is about a month or so out. So next year is going to be dope. Then, of course, we're here every Friday. Hooper's Morning Run, 9 a.m. Off the Ball Network Facebook page, Hooper's Twitter page, Hooper's YouTube page. And also go to YouTube, subscribe to the Hooper's page. Just look up the Hooper's Pod. Definitely got some content coming from on there that's going to be pretty dope. And you can find us anywhere podcasts are available. Apple, Google, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Pandora. Wherever they got podcasts at, we there. Right. Just look up the Hooper's Pod, and that's all I got.
And don't forget Wednesdays you can catch us on the halftime app.
Come on, man.
6 p.m. Eastern Time.
While we there, real quick, I just want to say I really appreciate the halftime app. Hosting the rooms has been different. Everything we've done has been different because it started just with podcasts, and then the live show, then the radio show. Now we're doing the room hosting, but it's been cool to connect with people just about like different players. It hasn't been even necessarily the marquee name like we just did Sean Kemp and Gary Payton. Obviously, people know them, but like we said on the show, when they talk about tandems, they don't always come up because you're going to immediately just go to the championship tandems. But the show we did on Ron Artest, we talked about David Robinson.
Of course, we did. Kevin Durant was the one.
Yeah, we did KD, which was the first one. But it's cool just to dive into those players, and we really want if anyone got any just suggestions of somebody you want to talk about, like Steve Francis was somebody I personally wanted to talk about. But if y'all want to talk, we can talk about anybody. Just send us suggestions of players. We typically have been doing a poll also. But if you don't see somebody on that poll, just send them. We might switch it all off because of one person that we see and think that that's interesting. So
no, definitely that for real.
But shout out to the halftime app. It's been cool being on the app and doing some content for them every 6 p.m. on Wednesday. Just download the halftime app, Hooper's Room. We haven't decided on next week's room yet, but we'll be dropping that name. So
no, definitely. But other than that, I'm John W.
Oh, it's Fresh X,
and this was the Hooper's Morning Run.
Catch y'all next.